Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the T&T Podcast. As always, it's your boy Tyler Layfield, joined by my co-host, and he's about to premiere in the UFC, Torrrez Finney. How's it going, man?
Hey man, thank you for having me back on once again. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. We're about to get ready to have this show, and yeah, I've been in training camp. Obviously, we would like to be a lot more active. I just been in training camp, so I'm grinding. I was in Florida for about 5 weeks, so yeah, and training camp has been going really, really good. So brothers, ready. Just got done training not too long ago. So yeah, that's why I was a little late behind, but yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so that'll be the first thing we kind of jump into today, because obviously next Sunday we won't be able to really get a hold of you to do any last minute, fight activities, fight topics. So I mean, we may as well cover it all right here, right now. You'll be fighting April 5th. It's on a Saturday. We kind of talked about it pre-show, but around 9 o'clock, you're going to be the first fight on the main card, correct?
Hmm.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about this opponent for those people that probably don't tune in a lot to it. It's Robert Valentine. Is that how you
Hmm.
pronounce it?
That's right, Robert Valentine. Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes some people say Valentine, but it is Valentine, and he's from
Hmm.
Switzerland. He's actually was originally born in Germany. He moved to Switzerland, grew up all in Switzerland. He started training MMA. Then he eventually moved to Thailand, and that's where he's currently stationed at right now. He does majority of his training. He's 10-4 as a professional. Solid, really, really good fighter, scrappy. And in terms of my eyes, I think he's a fighter, uh, a jack of all trades, not somebody that is really just really, really good at one thing, just versatile and multiple, which is obviously the essence of MMA. But he was on the Ultimate Fighter last year, the same show that I was supposed to be on,
Hmm.
uh, obviously regarding some inside stuff. But he, he made it all the way to the finale, and now, it's funny enough. We are our past meet once again. It's funny enough. I saw him at the hotel. I'll never forget when they flew me out to Vegas. I'm thinking I'm about to be on the show, but I go out there and I go through the whole process. And I remember seeing Valentine, and I remember seeing all the guys there. So it was never once a deal where I was like, oh man, this is just another thing. I was looking at everybody up and down. Like I'm going to eventually fight some of these guys
Hmm.
early in the process of the show, but our path eventually met. The most last year going into the Ultimate Fighter, well, coming out of the Ultimate Fighter, he was the most popular character on the show. So you got one of the most popular guys that made it to the finale. Tough finale, the competitor versus the Dana White Contender Series 3 times winner. So to have that, and they felt it was deemed enough to put it on the main card to start it off. So hopefully we utilize this, and yeah, I'm expecting to go in there and smash this guy.
Yeah. So you said he was popular. I didn't really watch the show. What made him popular? Was he a funny guy? Was he somebody that had a really good background story? What was it that drew people's attention to him?
One of the things that drew attention was the fact that he talked about like spilling blood to the Norse gods. He was like, I would
Okay,
like
I
to
remember you
spill
actually
blood
telling
to
me this.
Odin,
Yeah.
and plus he had a viral knockout. He had that quick 18-second elbow knockout. So that just caught some attention. He was
Hmm.
teaching people moves in the house. He was help coaching. So he just became a very quick fan favorite off the bat. And yeah, he was one of those guys that just really, really could capture the attention of people. You see a guy, I'm gonna spill the blood to the gods, and Odin is gonna love what I do. It's just talks
Yeah.
like
It
that.
sells.
It does sell. Yeah, it's
Uh,
but yeah, but I don't, none of that stuff don't faze me, man. It's like I tell people it's funny enough. It's like being in the South is different. We talk different. Like I don't know. We get enough trash talk like amongst just like friends and things, and then like even when in high school, as you would know, we would go and play House and County. We go and play Northside. We go and play all these other teams, and the trash talk, even on social media, it was just like bizarre back and forth. So like to me, it's like I don't feel that when I fight these guys because one, most of these guys, yes, some of them sometimes grew up in different conditions, but it's like just more athletic from where I'm from. And I think that's actually going to play a little bit of a part into this fight. I feel like I'm a better athlete, more athletic. I'm the better wrestler. He can do some things in the grappling area, but I don't think he is as keen as some of the other guys that I have fought. But he is definitely a guy that you have to respect. In a lot of things, he's dynamic. I definitely think he got a little pop to his shots. But he's a fighter. Again, he's a fighter, and just in my opinion, I've just seen a lot of guys like him. And yeah, they're gritty, they're tough. They're not a guy that you can just easily go in there sometimes and run over. Like you're gonna have to fight them back. But I think for sure by the end of the night, he's not gonna be able to deal with my pace and pressure by the time I get done.
Yeah, I see here, just according to Tapology, since y'all have introduced me to this, I use this quite a bit. I'm looking at, the measurables. It says that, he's a good 6 inches taller than you, and that he has about an inch and a half on the reach. Do
Mhm.
you think this will pose a little bit of a threat, similar to, I can't remember off the top of my head, the measurables of Cam Rouston, but obviously the length played a big part in that fight. Do you think you'll see something similar to that in this one, or not really?
No, not really, because Cam was tall. Cam was not 6'2".
Remember, he was listed as 6'2",
He was
though.
listed.
Are we going to see something similar to that this time? Where
Look,
here we are coming in. Robert Valentin is 6'2", and then you show up in the cage and he's 6'4", 6'5". I don't know. Do
yeah,
you think it could
look,
be another case? You said you've seen this guy. Is
I've
he
already
legit
seen
6'2"?
Valentine, so he's not. I mean, he's exactly he's 6'2", maybe
Okay.
6'1", but he's there for sure.
Okay.
Cam Rousman was the first time I seen him. You gotta remember, that was the first MMA fight Cam had fought in like 2 years. So one, he's overly developed since his last fight. And then two, I'm seeing this guy and I'm like, well, they got him at 6'2", but when I watch film or when I watch this stuff, and then I see him like stand next to Israel Adesanya, and I'm like, well, is he a little taller than Izzy?
Mm.
Are they lying about Izzy? Like somebody's
That's
lying.
something you got to pay attention to. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
I was see him stand next to Adesanya, and Carlos Ulberg, who fought yesterday, he for sure was every bit of 6'4" because he was towering over Jan Blachowicz. And I'm like, him and Cam Rouston would stand next to each other. I'm like, why does Cam look like he's taller than him? It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, below the hole, I see him in person. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not 6'2". And I play football enough. I know 6'2" when I see one.
Yeah.
So, a 6'2" guy, I mean, anybody that's going to follow me for my life, just know I've wrestled for a long time. I fought. How many guys have I fought that's been 6'2"? How many guys have I competed against that's supposed to have longer reach?
Mm-hmm.
That type of stuff to me, I think if I had shorter arms, that would play a huge factor.
Mm-hmm.
But God has blessed me to have
Yes, he has.
75 and a half inch reach. So
Yeah,
that helps.
it does help. I was looking at his previous fights too. It says that about 6 months and 3 weeks ago, he lost to Ryan Loader in a ground and pound. What round was that in? I know you've done some research on this guy. I know you probably went
Second
back and watched
round.
that one. Second round, okay. And do you think that watching that film has shown you some things that you think you could expose in your upcoming fight?
Yes. Yes and no. He got hurt early in that fight. So you just can't. You can only take so much.
What
But
happened
still,
to him?
he popped his elbow by
Mm.
a bad technique that he was doing, but he got his elbow popped. So, and they also had to have surgery on that and things. It's like there's a lot of components that plays into
Right elbow, left elbow.
all right. Yes.
Mm.
We got it all down.
Sounds like something we can, attack.
Yeah, it's funny. But yes, man, it's like a lot of this stuff is like things that you can pay attention to going into fighting. A lot of these things that you can like create, see can you create again. And one thing about me and my team, we watch a lot of film. And since we watch a lot of film and we dissect and we do a lot of things, remember, when you're fighting, once you get to a certain age, his birthday is actually, I think, March 30th. So his birthday is like this Sunday, this Saturday or Sunday.
Says
But
he's 30 years and 5 days old.
no, that's gonna be the time of the fight. He turns 30
Oh, okay.
this week. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
So
that's right. You're right. Okay, 30. Yes, at the time of the fight. That's interesting how they do that. I figured it. I guess that makes more sense than going and updating it every day.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, just
Uh-huh.
yeah. But majority of the time, especially once you get that far into your career, you are who you are. There's only so much you can do. That's why, I get credited a lot for like I'm going to continue to keep evolving. Now you can say that. You still have potential. There's certain guys that can only do so much. Sean Strickland
Hmm.
has been fighting like he's been fighting since 2017. We look at him now, hey, Sean Strickland always been fighting. Yes, he has. Because it's gotten to a point to where he has learned things, and that's just how far he will go. And that's the same thing I feel in my eyes. It's like he has gotten better in certain things, but I see a lot of the same flaws that I saw from years prior. And my goal is to go out there and exploit those. And I felt like on Ultimate Fighter, the guys he fought, which if anybody know that was one of the reasons why I didn't go on the show, but the guys he was fighting were things that couldn't exploit them. And he got exploited a little bit into the finale, but I am 100% confident I'm better than the guy he fought in the finale anyway. So it's just once again, I'm going to go out there and be able to. And my goal is go out there and impose my will and try my best to get a finish. But yeah, but I guarantee my hand's going to be raised at the end of the night, and I am excited. I'm really excited for this fight. One, to go out here and have my UFC debut, enjoy the entire week, enjoy the UFC process. But two, there's something that is coming up behind this. This is huge for me. There's been an announcement June 14th. The UFC will be coming to Atlanta, Georgia. And the only thing is, I just got to handle business on April 5th. We don't worry about June 14th. I have to handle business. But yes, the UFC will be coming to Atlanta, Georgia.
June 14th.
So
Let me
I
check my calendar real quick. Make sure. I'm for real though. I might
it'll be
have
at,
to try
it'll be
that,
at
man.
State Farm Arena. So like for me, that will be that's an early Christmas present for me.
No kidding.
And yeah, I will be open. Like, yes, I know it'll be a 10-week turnaround, but like I'm not looking ahead for that. I'm just staying focused on April 5th. But that's even extra motivation for me to go out here and handle business because I know what's on the back end of that. So yes.
Gotcha. All right. I got to hit up the. Okay. I think it is. All right. I will be in town. Nice. I will be in Georgia. Awesome. Man, I'm going to have to. Please handle business so that I can go ahead and I can buy
It'll
some
be
tickets. I might have to see if I can. It'll be at, you said State Farm,
Mhm.
dude. That's
Atlanta, Georgia.
awesome.
Mhm.
Yes, man. That is going to be so great. I'll have
Please
to.
do.
That'll be an early birthday present or something for Louis. I'll have to buy him a ticket
Oh
too,
my God,
and
man.
we can
I
go.
already told, I was telling my agent and I was telling them, like, please express.
And I got a plug. I got a plug at the State Farm Arena. They can get me some tickets, some maybe some decent tickets. So hopefully I can pull something, man. That is one of my things. See, I've only been able to come to one of your fights. I really wish I could have been able to go to that Savannah fight when you did that. That would have been such an easy one to go to. The Macon one was great. That was a cool experience. Real low key, but still just an awesome experience. It was cool to have it here in the hometown. But now you're in the UFC, being able to do that in your home state, that's going to be freaking crazy. And
I
I can only
told them,
imagine the other people that are going to be on that card too.
oh my gosh, I told them, I said, y'all don't understand what pool I would have in Atlanta.
Yes, man.
And I
And
told them
Chattanooga, right there near it. Yeah, man.
hour and a half away. Like, bro, blow the roof off. Like, bro, you're talking about packed.
Yeah, see,
I,
they haven't even put that up on the like. I'm
I
trying to
know.
look ahead on. So what would this be?
That's
This would
why
be
I said,
UFC 316,
no. That's a
or
fight.
what would it be?
It's a fight.
It would be a fight night. So it technically probably would be a little cheaper than a UFC, three something.
No, it will be all the same. No, pay
It'll
per
be all the
view
same.
is
Dang
gonna
it,
be
man.
different.
Dang it, man.
But
Dang it.
but but again,
With
again,
hometown discount.
you'll get an opportunity. And I tell people it's like that's why I said it's a little sneak peek. Like UFC gives us little snippets here and there.
Hmm.
So that's why I said I'm
And if you
expressing.
do if you do really good in here, there's no doubt they would probably put you on the main card again. Because I mean, you're on a fight night now. You're on a main card. Chances are
Mhm,
they'll give you another main card look.
mhm,
I would assume. I think it's pretty cool that in this card you're fighting with some pretty big names on this too. Josh Emmett, I feel like
mhm.
He's been around a long time, correct?
Yeah, long time in the game, man. Long
Yeah.
time. Going against Murphy, Leroy Murphy. That's gonna be a
Hmm.
really, really good fight. Gosh, then you got Gerald Mirscar and Brad Tavares, guys that used to be ranked back to back. They're fighting too.
That's
So,
crazy that they're on the prelims for you.
yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
man.
That's
Yeah,
cool though.
there's
That's
some
so
guys,
cool.
man. I mean, that's just how fighting works sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like they really feel like what brings odds, and from the sources that I've heard, is like the UFC saw some really good things when I fought on those contenders, and obviously social media stuff.
More viewers, more impressions on social media, things like that.
Yeah, like for instance, when my poster got put out, when me fighting Valentine, everybody saw like, oh my gosh, this is his physique. Everybody talks more about my physique than anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it's a selling point, and
Yeah.
I know it is, but I just go with the flow.
Just keep doing you. Just keep doing keep the main thing the main thing. Keep winning fights, and
All
the
that
rest will
matters.
follow.
All
That's
that matters.
awesome, man. Well, we'll be rooting you on, man. Dad was bringing it up today because that's technically like the last Saturday of my spring break. We got this week to work, and then we're off. So I'll be off. We're gonna go to a little birthday party in Warner Robins. I'm gonna go watch the fight with him. Probably get Daniel, maybe some other folks around.
That's
Maybe
good.
Tracy will join us, and we'll
That's
watch you
good.
fight, man. So
Good.
we're looking forward to it, man. We're excited to watch. So man, just go out there, do your thing, handle business like you said, and let's get to Atlanta.
That's
Let's get
right,
to
man.
Atlanta.
We get to
Yeah,
it, man.
man.
And I'm ready, man. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Like long time coming. It's funny enough. I just go back and look, and I tell people like, Mom, always have a motto for camp, and my motto for this camp is it's been joy. Just straight joy. Being joyful in the moment, just being joyful for everything that joyful in training. Like, don't rush the process. Don't rush
Hmm.
none of this stuff because once it leaves, it's gone forever. So like,
Yeah.
enjoy the first time of your UFC fight. We um, hope to God, and obviously I have a lot more in me, but never know. But like, just enjoy every small step and enjoy all the way to victory. And that's just been one of those type of things that I've been really having for myself throughout this fight camp, just being joyful. And yeah, it's like you've been with me literally since because I didn't start fighting MMA until after this podcast.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I've been with you every step of the way. I remember you talking about during COVID, sneaking
right,
off during football to do some MMA stuff.
yeah. So
It's crazy how time has flown.
so
Here we are,
time is
five
definitely
five years. 5 years. It don't feel like 5 years, but it's
it
five
don't
years
feel like
later.
5 years, man. And
Mm-hmm.
look, to anybody that's watching out there listening, remember anything can change in the span of 5 years.
Yeah.
Understand that. So
And
I
the
would have
whole
never thought
time watching you, we knew this was like a legit possibility. That you could make it. I feel like everybody was on that train in Jones County.
yeah.
We were all riding with it and thinking you can make it. And of course, through the ups and the downs, all the times of being, the few times you got rejected there, and all the Jones County citizens getting into it with people on social media and
Yeah,
people's
so, man,
jobs being threatened and things like that through
hey, he got
everything.
married yesterday. He got married yesterday.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Yeah,
did. Congratulations to River
that's
on
right.
getting married. That's awesome.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been a fun road, and I hope it just continues to get better for you.
And you, wait, hold on. Don't act like people in Jones County just got into it with him out of random. You the reason why that happened.
Starting stuff up, yeah. The TikTok.
I would start stuff.
He ain't gonna slam me. Boom. No, he ain't gonna get me on the ground. Boom. He can't pick me up. Boom. Yeah, just all that. Yeah, I clipped that. Yeah, that was.
Oh
I
man,
don't get real creative with the technology, but that time I
that was good.
decided that
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 was
was
so
that
good.
was worth it. That
Yeah,
was worth it. I have
because
to.
even to so many people, it was like that is the funniest thing
I'm going
because
to
we
go back and
did.
watch that after this. I'm going to go back and
Yeah,
watch
that
it.
was funny. That was good.
It was good. All right, man. Well, moving on to March Madness. We are in March. There is madness happening.
Yes, it is.
I got your picks pulled up right here out of our TNT pool.
Okay.
Um, so far, you're doing pretty good with the Auburn
First
pick.
place.
You got Auburn through. I think that we both had that one. You did pick Louisville, just like I did. Creighton did beat them, but they lost to Auburn. You had Michigan, and I regret doing what I did, man. I picked UC San Diego. They did keep it close, but Michigan looked really good against A&M yesterday.
Yeah.
Have you been watching a good bit of these
I've been watching
games?
a good bit of the highlights, just staying up in there. I have obviously been paying a little bit more attention to Duke than anything, but
Man,
and
Duke
Tennessee,
looks.
but they look pretty good even without well he's played, but he ain't been playing as like dynamic as he was during the season, but they look really good, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I like their chances, but
Talking about Duke.
yes,
Yeah, man, that game just ending. We'll get to that here in a second. I know you and I both picked them to win the whole thing, but he got poked in the eye today. Still came back in the game, went crazy. The whole they're just so deep. Like they just got so much depth on that team, so much talent that yeah, you can hold this one guy, but as soon as they swing it to this other dude, he's wide open. He can nail the three. Like they just got so many players.
they do.
So it's just going to be hard to stop for whoever ends up getting in their path. Yeah, but Michigan, they made it past the first round against UC San Diego. They beat A&M last night, so they're moving on. You did have that happening, so you're so good. Kudos to you. I sucked on that. I had Yale upsetting A&M, and yeah, that didn't happen. You did pick Ole Miss to beat whoever it was that won between North Carolina and I think who was it they
I
played?
was thinking
Yeah, there you go. And
I got both of those picks
I
correct.
picked North Carolina. I figured North Carolina since they snuck in, if you recall, if you remember, it was 2016, the spring of 2016 when Syracuse was put into the tournament, and everybody and their mama was like, that shouldn't have happened. We had a
Mhm.
similar thing happen this year with North Carolina. If you remember, Syracuse went on a deep run that
Mhm.
year in 2016.
They
I figured
did.
we were going to see some similar magic happen, and sure enough, they did. They did start. They made that game close at the end there against Ole Miss, but Ole Miss pulled it out.
Especially when you saw how North Carolina played. Granted, Flag had got hurt, but like especially how you saw North Carolina played against Duke and how
Yeah,
they came back against Duke and
they did.
almost won that game. So I can understand people thinking, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you, SEC this year had an incredible conference. And if you were able to just get through the majority of those games,
Yeah,
you were better than like a good bulk. So I was taking Ole Miss over this. Basically, I was picking conferences in this matter. I was picking
yeah.
like SEC
You're
over
right. You're
now.
right. Yeah, and you ended up being right. So good job on you again on that one. Iowa State and Lipscomb. You and I both picked them. You right now. You have Iowa State beating Ole Miss, so we'll see how that one plays out here. That's going to be today at 7:45. Um, you picked New Mexico just like I did, beating Marquette.
Mhm.
Richard Pitino coaching them. They look pretty good. They're going to be facing Michigan State, who we both picked against Bryant. So we're going to see that one here at 8:40 tonight.
Mhm.
You have Michigan State. So do I. I think they can make a pretty deep run.
Me too. Me too. I really do. They're good.
Florida beat Norfolk State. I think everybody picked that.
Yeah.
Everybody had that. Yeah, that felt like a gimme. UConn beat Oklahoma. You picked them as well. I just felt like you got to put some respect on Hurley and UConn. Back to back champs. I didn't think they were going to win it all, but I knew they could probably at least make it past Oklahoma. Sure enough, they did. And man, did you watch the game today?
I didn't, but I saw how close it was. I was keeping up with
Yeah.
it. I did. I was
So the
training.
score is 77-75 Florida over UConn. That was because a late three by UConn ended up just kind of it was over at the minute mark or so. But UConn, man, they came out swinging. They were playing a very physical brand of basketball. They were getting open shots, weren't hitting exactly all of them, but they were playing really good defense. Florida just had like a little avalanche they went through there at the end, and that one guy, golly, what's his name? The freaking they got a guy
For
at
who?
point
For
at
Florida?
point guard, Florida. They got
Walker Clayton?
yes, man,
Yeah,
that dude
Walker
is
Clayton
so
Jr.
freaking good.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
Clayton is amazing.
Yeah,
He remind Louis and I were sitting there talking today.
he's good.
I was like, when that dude just gets hot, he starts hitting everything. I was like, he reminds me of Jamal Murray. He was like, that's exactly who I was about to
Mm-hmm.
say. He reminds me. He gives me Jamal Murray vibes. Like at the end of the game, the dude can just,
Take
he's
on.
capable of hitting every shot that he starts
Mhm.
taking. But yeah, Florida's moving on. Did you see the comments by Hurley today when he was leaving?
What he say?
Dude, all right. So when he was leaving through the through the tunnel. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up. That way I quote him perfectly here. He said, "I hope they don't f you like they effed us, Baylor." is what he told Baylor when he was leaving. So I guess he feels like the officiating didn't quite go his way. I There were maybe some calls that were kind of, but
So
I really don't think that game came down to that. I really don't think it did. There was just some mental errors by UConn there at the end, giving up some steals. Really, when Florida flipped that switch and they turned on the energy and they started cranking up the defensive pressure and everything, it
mhm,
just felt different. They took off from there, but I guess he feels some type of way about it. So he's
yeah.
blaming the officials. Um, you had Memphis beating Colorado State. I believe I did the same thing. Colorado State moved on. They are playing Maryland um, here at 7:10, so here shortly. Um,
I did have Memphis. Yeah, I was shocked that they lost.
yeah,
I trusted dang,
Penny
what's that?
Hardaway.
Yeah, Penny Hardaway. Um, I trusted them good, but I did not see them losing Colorado State. That
Yeah.
shocked me actually. That was a
Colorado State, they were like a really hot team coming into this tournament, from what I hear. They were winning a bunch of games. So I guess it's like all about timing. It's kind of like when people
that's
talk
very
about
true.
baseball, like getting hot at the right time,
Not at the
and
right time.
they
Yeah,
got right. And you were having Memphis beat Colorado State to move on to the Sweet
I
16.
did.
Do
I
you
did.
feel like Colorado State can do it, or are you going to take Maryland here now?
I'm going to take Maryland in that one. I'm taking Maryland in that one, and I think eventually they're going to. Yeah, they're losing to Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
all of them were losing to Florida. So,
Yeah, Florida feels like they're going to be a Final
yeah,
Four team.
yeah, yeah.
Um, you had Missouri beating Drake. I believe I did the same thing there. Drake pulled off the upset. You
Yeah,
had Texas Tech beating UNC Wilmington. I did the same thing. And you originally had Missouri beating Texas Tech.
I
Are
did.
you going to pick Drake against them, or are you going to have Texas Tech moving
I'm
forward?
taking Texas Tech in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're right there. I think I had Texas Tech pulling it out against Missouri when I had
Wait,
them moving on
Texas Tech
initially.
already beat Drake.
Did they? Sorry.
Yeah, they already
That's
did.
right. They already beat Drake. That's right. Now they're going to move on against
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah, and that's a whole dilemma in itself because I had Arkansas beating Kansas. You had Kansas winning that one.
I did.
But I had St. John's moving past Omaha to beat Arkansas. I was real hot on St. John's. I had them going all the way to the
Great
championship game
Patino.
against Duke, and yeah, that didn't. That's not happening. So, yeah, Arkansas. Calipari did it, man. He moved on past Rick
Oh, look,
Pitino.
I argued this with guys in another group chat. And
Okay,
I put it in our group chat as well. I was arguing with somebody else. I was like, well, whoop de doo. There we go. John Calipari, once again.
he can actually do some
People,
coaching.
everybody keeps saying, oh, he can't coach. And my friend's response was, well, when you have the players that he has had,
That's part of
you
the
don't
job.
have results. I don't think that deems you as a great coach. I said, hold up. This is that flaw. We currently live in ring culture, and that gets me. It's like people saying Ryan Day is not a good football coach. He's not a great football coach. He's a good. He's not great. In my opinion, whether he had won this championship or not. Now, granted, he probably been on the hot seat because he lost to Michigan. But regardless, he still was a great coach. Reason
Hmm.
why he has gotten that team to winning multiple games, multiple conference championships. He had been to multiple national championships. Similar to Calipari, he's been to 6 Final Fours while he was at Kentucky. Obviously, he won one national championship. Most people think he should have won more if you look at the lineage of players. But again, this is my problem with all of it. You look at the lineage of the players, but what's the lineage of players that stay a second year? What's the lineage of players that stay to their third year?
Not a
It
lot.
doesn't happen in basketball. There's constant new turnover every year.
Yeah, he's the one that pretty much created the one and done.
That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So if he continues to win with just new turnover rate, let me tell you something like this. How many years did Coach K coach? He goes like 50 something years almost.
Yeah, he started like in 78.
Dude, he just
So
retired like what,
40
2
something
years?
years. Yeah, 40 something
40
years.
something years. He only has what, 5 national championships out of 40 years? You
Yeah.
would think a guy or coach with that caliber, you would think he had more. When you
Yeah.
like, we can't say Coach K wasn't a good coach. It's the turnover rate. It's hard to win when you having all these new players coming in to learn this system over again, especially against certain players that have. I remember when Kentucky played what, Wisconsin? They lost to Wisconsin. Wisconsin had 5-year guys.
Yeah, what was it? Kaminsky and Sam Decker and
Mm-hmm.
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank. That's right. I
Yeah.
remember that.
So yeah, it was 1980 to 2022. So 42 years. You were right. Five
Ooh.
national championships, 13 Final Fours, 15 ACC tournament championships, and 13 ACC regular season titles.
That's really, really. So that's a Hall of Fame coach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, you were thinking. Now, how long was Calipari in Kentucky? Well, like since 2002, 2001. Well, how long was he at Kentucky?
Let me look it up. Perry at Kentucky. Let's see what it says here. Got something going on? 2009 to 2024. 15 seasons he was at Kentucky. So yeah, 15 seasons that Calipari was at Kentucky doing his thing. And
Yeah.
okay, you got that situated.
Yeah, my cousin in there cooking and foolishness. Corlin's in there cooking foolishness. He's got it in the smell like smoke. Oh my god.
So 15 seasons he was at Kentucky.
15 seasons. Okay. See? So like, bro, he's a great coach. It's hard to win. His statement actually. It's harder to win in college basketball. Well, it's harder to win all of them. It's hard to win. Forget it. It's hard to win all. It's hard to win, but it's surely hard to win in college basketball than, in my opinion, maybe in college football a little bit because of the turnover rate. The turnover rate is ridiculous. If I have a new starting five every year, bro, I ain't gonna have a chance of doing anything. Like, free. I gotta teach somebody a new system every year. That's tough. So I think that matters when you're talking about whether a coach is great. But congrats to Arkansas. I'm actually slick rooting for them. No, I did not pick
They have a pretty good team, yeah.
You think they can beat Texas Tech?
I think they can. I think they can ride that wave to beat them. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I would take them right now. If I had to pick, I would take them, and then that would put them against Florida, and I just think Florida ends that.
Yeah, Florida ends that.
Still a great run though. Great run.
Yeah.
Yeah, not expected, So then we made it to the East. Of course, everybody picked Duke against Mount St. Mary's. I had Mississippi State against Baylor. You picked Baylor correctly, and Duke beat Baylor. And Dad and I were talking earlier. We were watching it. He's like, "Yeah, they're going to play them close, just like UConn just played Florida." I was like, "I don't think so." I was like, "They're going to end up going on some scoring run. Like, there's going to be an avalanche." I know I use that term quite a bit, but that team is just too stacked. It's like watching I don't know. They're just playing at another level right now. It's like watching that Warriors team with KD going against some of those old teams in the NBA where at any point they're going to go on some scoring run that's just going to put you away. And sure enough, like you look later on in the second half, they're up 20. I just texted them, be like, "You remember when you told me they were going to keep it close?" They're just going off. There's just too many options.
I remember. You know what I used to remember is like watching those games. It's like. There will be times they'll be down 15, and people are like, "Wow, they don't look as good." Next thing you know, that third quarter hits, they're up by 20, and you're like, "What happened?" And when you got that type of team, when you're that much better than the opposition, you can go on runs on unreal runs, unreal runs.
You're right. Oregon beat Liberty. Arizona beat Akron. You picked those correctly, and it looks like you're going to have Oregon beating them tonight at 9:40.
I do.
BYU beat VCU. We both picked that one right. Wisconsin beat Montana. We both picked BYU to beat Wisconsin, so they're going to move on and play the winner of Alabama and St. Mary's, who we both had moving on to that round of 32. They are currently playing. Alabama's up 34-24 as we speak, so I expect them to win that. And then you and I both have Alabama moving on to the Elite Eight from there.
Yes.
Nothing crazy there. Yeah, they. I will say Robert Morris did hang in there pretty tight with Alabama in that round of 16.
They did.
90 to 81. They held their own. I got to give it to them. They did not play a bad game. Houston, of course, beat SIUE soundly. And we both picked Gonzaga against Georgia. because neither one of us was going to fall for that trap. I believe.
Oh man,
I knew. Yeah,
yeah.
watching this Georgia basketball team this year, man. I'm just like, there's zero chance I have any faith that you're going to pull it out against a blue blood like Gonzaga. Like I watched that Florida game when they upset Florida in the regular season, and they did their very best to piss that game away. Like they had that game. They were up by like 20 in the first half. And
Wow.
you would think Georgia was just trying to give them the game in the second half, like the way they were playing. So I was like, you think I'm really going to trust you against this team that has made it to, golly, somebody said it. They every time they make the tournament, they make it to the Sweet 16, except for this year.
Yeah.
They ran into Houston last night, and they played a great game. They only lost by 5. But Houston was just going to be a tough draw regardless. Houston looks legit. They look like they're.
Used to look good.
It looks like it really does look like all 4 of the 1 seeds are going to make it to the Final Four. That's really what it kind of feels
In
like.
Houston beats Tennessee.
I think they could, man. They look pretty doggone good. They got a lot of veteran team, veteran members on that team.
Mm.
I don't know. It's going to be tough. You and I both picked Clemson to beat McNeese. McNeese pulled off the upset. They have some really solid um, players on that team, and now Will Wade, the coach of that team, along with his esteemed equipment manager, are moving
Yeah.
on to North Carolina State. So he's going to be going. So I guess McNeese is about to fall back to its old ways. We're going to see who they replace him with.
Mhm.
But yeah, we both picked that one wrong. I picked High Point against Purdue. I was going to pick that upset. You got Purdue right, and Purdue took care of business against McNeese. That really wasn't much of a matchup. And you and I both got Houston beating Purdue in that round of 16.
We do.
So yeah, nothing crazy there. Let me see here. You had Illinois beating the winner of Xavier, Texas. I think I picked the same. I think I did. And we both picked Kentucky against Troy. We both have Kentucky beating them, and right now they are currently beating them by 9 with 12:41 left in the
It's
second
pretty
half.
tight still. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that
It,
one's going to
it, it
happen.
feels like it's meant to have a Kentucky and Tennessee matchup. That's gonna be a
That's
good
going
one.
to be fun. That's going to be a fun freaking game, man.
Mhm.
UCLA and Utah State. I picked Utah State. You picked you. Well, yeah, both of us picked Utah State, and they sucked. They got beat 72-47. Man, that
Yeah.
was
I don't
pretty.
know why. Like I know UCLA has a pedigree, but I don't know what made
Still,
me pick Utah State. I don't know.
I don't know. I felt like Utah State was playing better than them going into
Me
this,
too.
but
Going in, that's the same way I looked at it. That's the same
yeah,
thing I looked
weird. And then we both had Tennessee beating Wofford. Tennessee beat UCLA by 9. They're moving on to Sweet 16. So yeah, that's what we're looking like right now. Duke, it just feels inevitable. I know they're going to have to play Alabama here at some point, but
at.
sign me up, man. I'll take Duke against them. I know Kobe will differ on that front, but I just don't know. I feel like don't get me wrong. Alabama's got a great team. It's just I sat here and watched this Duke game against Baylor. Every day that passes, Cooper Flagg's just getting healthier. I know he got hit in the eye today. He's going to get better. He still played great, even with that, man. He was hitting all sorts of shots. He makes the right assist. He makes the right plays. And they just got dudes. The center
Yeah.
position, they got 2 really good ones they can play. They got that Knipple, little white boy that can hit all the threes. They got like they just got these guys that you sit here and watch them. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy how stacked they are. Like here, I'm pulling up the box score now just to go through it. But yeah, Cooper Flagg finished with 18 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and he had 2 fouls going into half, and he stayed that way.
Yeah.
He has the discipline enough to keep it that way. The center they have 8 points, 5 rebounds. Didn't have to do a ton. He made his 3 field goals, all 3 of them. Knipple had 12 points on 2 of 3 from 3. Proctor got hot today. Hit 7 of 8 3-pointers today with 25 points. They just got all sorts of guys, man. It just feels like it's just crazy. It really is. I really do think they're going to end up doing really good in this thing. I picked them to win it all. I stand firm in that sense. Do you
Me
feel the
too.
same?
I'm a big dude. Great to see it with a new coach this time. I think they get the job done.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add here for March Madness?
No, man, it's been a fun one already. I mean, heck, it was madness on the first day.
Yeah.
But speaking of March Madness, I'm going to say this:
Okay.
one of the biggest upsets in college history.
Yes.
Yesterday,
I saw you
Gabriel
posted.
Stevenson, one of the best wrestlers, especially heavyweight wrestlers, probably in college history. He He's Olympic champion. He won the Olympics last year. Uh, just phenomenal athlete. The man was signed by the Buffalo Bills without ever playing football a day in his life. Then he went and tried to try out for the WWE. He was already a he was already a two-time national champion, along with an Olympic gold medal. He destroyed everybody during the regular season. He hasn't lost a wrestling match since 2019.
Crazy.
He was dominating everyone. He had never been taken down this entire season. When he got close, he was going against a guy, Wyatt Hendrickson from Oklahoma State. Guy never won a national championship, first ever national title championship he's competed in. And he's going against the guy that just all the accolades I just named. And with like 20 seconds left, he shoots a takedown. And Lord have mercy, he gets the takedown to take the lead. And boy, the only takedown that Gable Stevenson had been taken down with that entire year to win the national championship. That was epic. And then the fact that he can get up after the fact, bro. Epic. I mean, one of the biggest upsets, like it's up there. You know, people are right now comparing, is this upset bigger than when Dan Gable, he wrestled in Iowa. Dan Gable had won every single match in college, 3 straight national championships. He won every single match his senior year, all the way up to the last ever match of his college career. He lost. So when you ask the question, like, which upset is bigger, Dan Gable at the time, yes, he had the best collegiate career you possibly can have. But yet, Gable Stevenson was an Olympic champion. Like, he coming back to college to wrestle with guys that are not even on this level. You would think the Olympic champion would come close to losing. And it happened. That's why I think I lean this. Maybe it's more because it's new. You know, it's like it's right now. But Dan Gable, I mean, to never lose a match in college up until your last one of your entire college career, that stings. You know, like that's crazy. That's actually crazy to think about.
What a way to go out.
Yeah, but wow,
fun for him,
man.
Crazy. All right, so then let's get into NFL free agency and trades real quick. Kick it off with your Pittsburgh Steelers real quick.
Oh, yes. DK Metcalf. Mm-hmm. Look, that was huge. I'm glad we did a lot better going after some wide receivers. And we let go of a brother. Funny enough, we let go of a brother that went to the Chargers. Already asked the player that's on the team, Lad McConkey, asked him about what he thinks. He's I think it'd be good. He thinks Najee will fit well in a Jim Harbaugh system. But
yeah, I'm about to say you kind of glossed over that. You've been freaking working out with Lad McConkey, eating freaking dinner with him and stuff. Like, man, you can't just slyly bring that up and just go over it, man. How's that been?
Oh, he's cool, man. He's a really down to earth guy.
He seems like it.
He's we just straight up, man. It's funny. We went to the field to do some sprint work. I had some cardio conditioning PKP had me doing. I had to run bleachers and run like sprints on the field, getting ready for the fight. And Lad is just so quick and he's so fast. But funny enough, granted, we went to a high school to do it.
What high school were y'all at?
Gordon Lee. It was at Gordon Lee High School, which is right here around town. And so Gordon Lee has like middle school and high school combined. So like they all go together. And like the principal's okay, just like allow them to stand around the fence. They obviously didn't come on the field, but they stand around and they just sit there and watch. And all of them like, Lad, Lad, Lad. They're screaming Lad. And that was really cool to see. And it was pretty cool when Lad like threw a few of them the football and they were just losing it. And granted, a bunch of teachers coming out and take pictures. A few of them came out and took pictures, obviously, with me as well, and the principal and all that. So it was a cool experience to do all that. But we went out there and got the work done. But definitely a lot of people love Lad, and, especially around him. He's from Chatsworth, which Chatsworth's about 30, 40 minutes away from Chattanooga. Yeah. So it's like, it's still close enough where it's just like somebody from Jones 101 Robbie's essentially. He's like, you still know that person, and that's basically what Lad is here. And yeah, man, it's cool to hang with a brother. He's good. He's been working on some kicks. We play around a little bit. We do a little tussle wrestling here and there. But he's a cool guy, man. He's a really cool guy. So, but yeah, man, Najee going to the Chargers, and I somebody, he thinks he fits really well in the Jim Harbaugh system. And
they got him for a steal. I mean, he's only going to make like $3 million or something after before the incentives and stuff. So they're not really having to take any risk here. They're just going to roll the dice to see if he works, and if he don't, it's not like they're paying him a lot, so
No, he's not.
it's a good deal
And
for the
you know what? Let me
Chargers.
tell you something about Najee. I see Najee doing all this talking. Now, yes, our facilities, the still facilities were never that great, but he's doing all this talking. He has a point to a degree. Yes, we were dynamic offense. Well, mainly because we have Arthur Smith. Okay? He went dynamic in Atlanta. He's just not dynamic anywhere he is. Okay, it is what it is. I don't know why we got him. But don't act like you were running haywire before Arthur
Yeah,
Smith got
don't
there.
act like you were all that, man.
Please. Like,
We know the 1,000 yard crap, but I mean that was the most boring 1,000 yard seasons I've ever seen in my freaking life. I feel like.
dude, and look, he might continue to keep getting those 1,000 yard years. And to be honest, that's probably all his agent is telling him to do. Nah, just
He'll
keep
get
getting
some
those 1,000 yards.
touchdowns. He'll get him some touchdowns, and he'll
He
make
gets
Kobe
the
feel
right.
good.
Keep getting those 1,000 yards because that's the selling point. Because at this rate, it look like the 1,000 yards is harder. It's harder to get right now in the NFL for one reason. It's a passing league. So if you keep having this 1,000 yard back, you can sell to any team you go to, which means it helps for your country. Honestly, as a player for him, keep getting 1,000 yards. But as a Steelers fan that watched every game, I know how valuable those 1,000 yards really were. It's like telling me Jameis Winston threw 30 touchdowns. Yes, but he also threw 30 interceptions.
A bunch of picks, yeah.
Yeah, don't come
It's
here.
fun, it's fun when you're doing all the good stuff. But I mean, we can't just gloss over all the kind of ugly, like the times where he looked like he was running in quicksand, the times where he was
Exactly.
falling over and things like
When
that.
Jalen Warren
I
was
had
coming
this guy in fantasy. I know, I know he's not great. I never started this man, not once when I tamed him,
in.
because I knew he wasn't going to bust out on nothing really good. I mean, he did end up having a couple decent games where he scored and all, but you can't even predict it because it's just so inconsistent from game to game. One game he'll be looking hot, next game buns. So, yeah, I saw y'all also traded for Ben Skoranek,
We did.
wide receiver from what the Rams. Ain't that it? Think so.
Yeah, LA.
Yeah, you got Darius Slay. You brought back Mason Rudolph,
That was
Malik Harrison, the linebacker. You got Kenneth Gainwell.
that's good. That's good one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Gainwell. Gainwell and Warren will be decent. Like you'll get similar production than you did with Najee. So not a home run free agency. I mean, but there's still time. You still have a chance to sign Aaron Rodgers, Torrez. Is that who you're wanting?
Well, I think Aaron Rodgers will fit, but it will only fit if we had an offensive line.
Yeah.
But I know we don't have that necessarily. So it's like, and I keep hearing talks about us going in the draft to get Jalen Milroe.
Could happen.
Dude, sorry, I don't want it. You can
You don't
have.
have to if you don't have to spend a high round pick on it. I think it would be okay.
Oh no, I think that's gonna be our first round pick.
That's crazy. If
I
y'all
know.
do that, that's crazy.
I agree. It is crazy. You preach to the choir, man. It is crazy. When I saw, let me tell you something. I played with Coach Tom. He's the quarterback coach for Pittsburgh Steelers. He was my head coach here at UTC. Him, Mike Tomlin, and the general manager. I said this in a group message. Two out of those three guys, I'm not a huge fan of. I ain't gonna say who, but two out of those three guys, I'm not a huge fan of. And like them making the decision on who the next quarterback, I don't tell you. I don't know. No. We're gonna be another 9-8. Congrats, Mike Tomlin. No losing season. Yeah, well, that's because of our defense. It ain't gonna work. Not in today's league. You gotta have a defense, but you better have offense that can put some points up. Sorry. I just watched what the Eagles did these past playoff games.
Just take the best available.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, just take the best available. That's all you got to do. That's what they did. Your offensive line, you got Broderick Jones. You got a guy named Sumalu from Philadelphia. Maybe he could do something. Zach Frazier at center. How did he do?
I think did he get hurt last year?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just looking at on paper what you got. You got a guy Troy Fontenot. He was your first round pick, I think, last year. and Mason McCormick. He was a fourth-round pick last year.
Our offensive line isn't as dynamic as it was, man.
Yeah.
It's not that good.
So outside of them, what are some other teams you noticed did some good or some bad in free agency?
Well, it's interesting to see what the Jets did. They just signed Justin Fields to that type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
They must see something in the upside. They must really trust that he's going to show out. And this is his third team. I thought he did a lot better on the Steelers than the Bears, in my honest opinion. Granted, he didn't play as much. Most Wilson came back, but I can't sit here and say that I would love to have Fields as my end all be all. I can't say, I can't say this. I'm going to put the whole franchise in his hand. But like the Jets are going to do that, and to be honest, not the first time the Jets have made mistakes like that. But I actually want him to succeed. So I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I hope he makes it work. But if you had to tell me which way I'm leaning to the opposite side.
Yeah, I saw where they got him. Brought in a couple other people, a cornerback, Brandon Stevens on a 3-year deal, Andre Cisco. I don't know. It's not really enough to really perk me up, man. I don't really think there's a lot going on with that. I've seen the Giants. They just brought in Jameis, so there's the one guy you can't get now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got him. Paulson Adebo, a corner. Javon Holland, a pretty good safety. They got some other decent guys here. Jeremiah Ledbetter. Nothing wild. Let me see here. What about our resident Atlanta Falcons? What have they done?
Nothing. Literally.
Let's
Barely
see.
anything.
Surely they've done something, Torres. They retained Jake Matthews, Mike Hughes, Kadero Hodge. Then they signed Divine Diablo, a linebacker for 2 year, $14 million. I have heard that name. They got Edge Leonard Floyd, former Georgia Bulldog, 1 year deal. Mike Ford and Morgan Fox. It's been kind of a bland offseason, hasn't it?
Yes. They ain't doing nothing.
Baltimore, they went and picked up DeAndre Hopkins. That's their main thing they did this week. Or this year. I mean, that's not going to be anything crazy. It's just 1 year, $6 million. Nothing crazy here. Buffalo Bills. They got Josh Palmer, wide receiver from the Chargers. He's decent when he plays.
That's
They
huge.
also picked up Joey Bosa on a 1 year, $12.6 million
That,
deal.
that was huge, but how often have the Bills stacked up? And man,
Yeah, Larry Ogunjobi, a defensive tackle. Michael Hope, a defensive tackle.
essentially these teams are trying to beat the Chiefs with what they already got. Basically, they're trying to add a few pieces here and there, but like it's the road to who can beat the Chiefs. That's really what it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. The
I
road
will
to beat them.
say the Bears have done some decent stuff for themselves, trading for Jonah Jackson on the offensive line from the Rams and Joe Tooney from the Chiefs. They're trying to do the right thing. They obviously got Ben Johnson coming in as the head coach. He's wanting to come in and kind of set the tone straight that they're going to try to protect Caleb Williams. Got a couple other guys they signed. I don't really know much about this one guy, Deo Odeyingbo. I don't really know him. They also got Grady Jarrett from the Falcons, 3 years, $43.5 million.
Oh yeah, okay.
Center Drew Dahlman. I think they also got him from the Falcons, 3 years, $42 million. So that's three, offensive linemen that are pretty good that they obtained somehow, some way, and then a couple of defensive players. So maybe we'll see something with them. The Bengals were able to hang on to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, so that's big news for them. Keep B.J. Hill, Mike Gesicki. They mainly just did a retention effort, it looks like. They re-signed a lot of guys. And then they just brought in Samaje Perine. Cleveland traded for Kenny Pickett from the Eagles, your former QB1, right? So they did that. They were able to keep Myles Garrett. They brought in Malik Collins and Devin Bush. I remember that name. You remember him, don't you?
Yeah, Devin Bush. He's played for Steelers.
Yeah, first round pick from
Michigan.
Michigan, yeah. Dallas Cowboys traded for Kyer Elam, the former Florida DB. Didn't really pan out there. Kenneth Murray they also traded for from the Titans. If you remember him, he was a pretty good linebacker at Oklahoma. The Chargers or the Cowboys. Let's see what else they did here. Re-signed a lot of guys. Brought in Solomon Thomas. I remember he was a good defensive tackle. I think he came out of Stanford. Javonte Williams from Denver, Miles Sanders. So it looks like they're just getting all the washed up running backs and seeing if they can find somebody that sticks.
Yeah.
Dante Fowler brought him in.
Dante Fowler, he's
Yeah, you
good.
remember him?
I was
Yeah.
good,
Where did
yes.
he play college ball at? You remember that?
Dante Fowler played
He was at Florida, wasn't he?
Florida. That's right, Florida.
Yeah, I remember I wanted the Falcons to get him, and they ended up getting him, just not in the same, not in the draft. They ended up signing him later on. Denver got Evan Ingram from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They ended up getting cut, and they picked him up. DJ Jones at defensive tackle. They're a team I'm watching, man. Denver's on the rise. They did pretty good. If you remember that game against the Bengals that went down to the wire for playoffs, that was a fun freaking game.
Yes.
They also picked up Talanoa Hufanga, the safety from the 49ers, pretty good. Drake Greenlaw, linebacker from the 49ers. Not bad pickups here. Detroit, we know they were going to lose some guys, but they also signed DJ Reed from the Jets, a good corner there. They retained a lot of dudes. It looks like Marcus Davenport and a couple others that were decent. Green Bay, nothing crazy, it looks like. Houston traded for Christian Kirk from the Jaguars, and they also got C.J. Gardner-Johnson from the Eagles. What do you think about that? Yeah, what do you think about those?
Really good one. That's a good pickup.
Yeah.
That's a good pickup, especially after coming off this year. I mean, that's a good pickup. That's a really good pickup.
Yeah, they did trade away Laramie Tunsil, if you remember that.
Yeah,
They traded him to I believe it's the Commanders. So the Commanders are doing some decent stuff there. Nothing crazy on the Colts. I'm not too keen on that. I mean, besides if you want to mention Daniel Jones getting a 1 year, $14 million deal. So it can be the toilet bowl. That him and Anthony Richardson can battle over who can be the suckiest quarterback in the league. Just,
Yeah, they can have that.
Lord have mercy. Jacksonville, they picked up some people. Patrick McCarry, an offensive lineman. Jordan Lewis, which was stupid. That's a dumb deal. Eric Murray, Robert Hainsey, Diami Brown. They made some dumb. All of that is music to my ears as a Brian Thomas Jr. Fantasy holder. Like I got him in fantasy. He's going to continue to be the wide receiver one there. Kansas City brought back Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, Hollywood Brown, Kareem Hunt. That's a good turnaround for Kareem Hunt to be out of the league and then come back in and get brought back. Juju's coming back to him. Charles Omenihu's coming back. They also picked up Gardner Minshew to be the backup. Christian Fulton as a decent corner there. Elijah Mitchell, I think that's an under-the-radar pickup, the running back from the 49ers, if you remember.
Yes,
he can be pretty good at times.
Yeah. He was a starter when McCaffrey was getting hurt.
Yeah. The Las Vegas Raiders brought in Geno Smith. Takes on that.
That's an interesting thing. Really looking at how the Raiders are consistently. I mean, I know they're making a lot of transition for their team. I heard, Tom Brady is taking more of a hand and picking some of these players. But looking at Geno going there, that's interesting. I don't know. I know
it's better than what they had, right? We can agree on that much.
What was it, Aiden O'Connell?
Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Terrible picks.
It's better.
The real winner here is Brock Bowers because he actually has somebody coming.
He got
the ball.
Sure.
Yeah. They also signed Jeremy Chin. I remember he was kind of like an NFL draft darling. Alex Kappa, a veteran on the offensive line. Our homeboy Eric Stokes from the University of Georgia Green Bay let him go, I guess. Raheem Mostert as well got brought in. The Chargers, looking at them here. Mekhi Becton, I think that's a good swing for the fences there. If I'm not mistaken, he was like a reserve offensive lineman for Philadelphia this past year. But if you remember, he was a first-round pick coming out of where was he from? I can't even remember off the top of my head. But you know what I'm talking about, though, don't you?
McKay Becton?
Yeah, wasn't he Louisville? I think he was a Louisville guy. I remember he was a high pick. I'm looking at him now. He came from. Let's see here. They're gonna say here list out his.
Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville. That's right. There it is. Good.
Big ticket.
Yeah. He was a kind of a hot topic coming out. They also got Mike Williams back, Najee Harris, like you mentioned earlier. Deshaun Hand. I haven't heard that name in a long time. You remember him from Alabama?
Yes, Deshaun Hand.
Yeah. Rams were able to keep Matthew Stafford and Jimmy Garoppolo. They also brought in Devontae Adams on a 2-year, $46 million deal, and they let go of Cooper Kupp. Is that a good trade-off in your opinion?
For who? I know Cooper.
Devontae, bringing in Devontae Adams, letting go of Cooper Kupp. That's what the Rams
Yeah,
did.
Cooper Cup had a lot of injuries, so you can't rely on that.
Yeah.
So at least Devontae showed that he still has some more to go, with Rodgers, even though Rodgers didn't use him, the Jets didn't utilize him the best. He still showed that he can play. So
Yeah.
with Stafford, let's see how he really shows out. I
Yeah.
think it's a better. I think it's a good move.
Also picked up Puna Ford, defensive lineman. Remember, he was formerly at the Seahawks. So, I mean, that their defensive line was already good with all of those picks they made with Braden Fisk and who was the guy? They got two guys. Remember, they got two guys from Florida State, Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, and they both tore it up this year in the NFL for the first year. So, adding him in the mix will be awesome. I'm not seeing anything too crazy with Miami. They brought in Westbrook Akine, Zach Wilson as the backup quarterback now. He'll get some
Exactly.
run.
Yeah.
Alexander Madison might be a decent pickup. KJ Britt, former
What
Auburn
position?
Tiger.
I don't know the position he plays.
Who?
Alexander Madison.
Running back. Came from the
Oh,
Vikings.
Matheson.
Yeah,
Matheson. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
I thought you said Madison. Okay,
Yeah,
man.
my bad.
No, no.
The Vikings brought in Jordan Mason from the 49ers.
Okay, okay.
Let's see. They also got Jonathan Allen
I see.
from the Commanders. So that's a big pickup for them. He's solid. Javon Hargrave also got him. That's two stud defensive linemen. Ryan Kelly, center from Indianapolis. Remember, he's an Alabama guy too. He's been in the league a long time.
Yes, we've been there for what? He used to play with
He was back there with like Blake Sims and all.
Jay Coker. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Jeez. Um, New England went on a spending spree. They got Milton Williams from the Eagles, good defensive lineman. Carlton Davis, I believe he came from Tampa Bay, corner. Harold Landry, edge from the Titans. Robert
Mhm.
Spillane, solid. Morgan Moses, I remember he was a first round offensive lineman out of Virginia. Mac
Mhm.
Hollins, Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
They went on a spending spree. Nothing much from New Orleans here. Nothing from the New York teams. They suck anyways.
I don't never do that.
Philadelphia got Dorian Thompson Robinson as a backup now. He might be okay there. They were able to keep Zach Bond. Remember, he was a great player for them this last year.
Mhm.
Saquon Barkley, they paid him up, so that's good. To replace Darius Slay, they brought in Adoree Jackson. If you remember, he was a first round pick out of USC.
Yeah, Adore. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see the Eagles. I think they're going to be just as good as they were last year. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I don't really see too much of a downfall.
Brought
For
in a
them.
couple other guys too. AJ Dillon, running back from
AJ
Green
Dillon's
Bay.
really good.
Yeah.
Big leg boy.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be a good fill in for when Barkley has to come off. Azeez Ojulari, we know plenty about him, former
Mhm.
Georgia Bulldog, man. Dude, they just continue to get good guys.
Yeah. They know where they come from. Why go if they were the best in college? Why go anywhere else? Let's
Yeah,
get these guys from the SEC. It's a
seriously.
model. So
Other people need to take notes, man. San Francisco, they brought in Demarcus Robinson, pretty serviceable wide receiver. Matt Jones, it's funny because you remember when the 49ers had that pick and they went with Trey Lance
Mhm.
and they were thinking about Mac Jones. It's funny now. Trey Lance gone to another team. He's with I think he's still with the Cowboys, and then Mac Jones they're bringing in now as a backup for Brock Purdy. We already talked about it a little bit, but the Seahawks they got Cooper Kupp. They brought in Sam Darnold,
Mhm.
Demarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys. Did you see him talk about his time with the Cowboys?
Yeah, it made Michael Parsons mad. I saw that.
Yeah, he said I knew I wasn't going to be winning with the Cowboys. That's
Well, it's gonna
yeah,
be hard to win anywhere, really.
yeah, yeah,
Like it's funny when these guys say, "Oh, I know I'm gonna go win with this team." Well, there's gonna be a lot of other teams that you wouldn't go win with anyway. Like,
mm,
like just being honest. Like,
yeah,
unless you were playing for like Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, Philly, or who you really winning? Let's be
yeah, yeah, for real. Yeah, you're gonna be losing some games.
yeah, who you really winning?
Tampa Bay looks like they just retained a lot of guys. They brought in Hassan Reddick though. Maybe he could be something for him.
Okay.
Kendall Vildor, former guy, used to tutor at Georgia Southern. Tennessee Titans. Lord have mercy, they suck. Oh
Yeah,
Lord,
awful. They ain't nothing to do.
jeez,
I
man.
never.
Yeah,
That's why I tell
gonna
these folks. I
I'm
never
gonna
want to hear
skip
from no
that.
Tennessee fan from around here.
I'm gonna skip that one. Yeah, that it is, dude. It's just nothing. Like they paid an offensive lineman Dan Moore 82 million, and they brought in Kevin Zeitler. I think he was with the Ravens beforehand. But who are you protecting? Because
They
they're
ain't
talking
nobody
about they
better.
may not be getting a quarterback in this draft either. So what are you doing? Like I don't know. There's just no direction there.
Well, sometimes it's meant for you not to be a good in the decade. Sometimes it's meant for you to
Hmm.
be sorry.
Seriously, that's what it feels like with them. Commanders brought in Debo. We already talked about that, and Laramie Tunsil, two big pickups.
That's
Uh,
huge. That's
yeah, yeah, I love Jane Daniels, man. He's going to do even better now. They retained a lot of people, and they also brought in Javon Kinlaw, great defensive tackle from the 49ers. Will Harris, Dietrich Wise, Eddie Goldman. I remember that name. You remember him from Florida State? Eddie
yeah,
Goldman, big old Eddie Goldman.
that's
Michael
good.
Gallup, and that's it, man. That's really it. It's not a crazy free agency though. It's kind of a suck one. Like there really wasn't a
There's not
lot.
so many players. It's a lot of older guys that are in.
Wasn't a lot of movement, man. So it's just kind of made for a kind of boring, you know, really off season.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's a lot of old guys that are on their way out that teams are trying to get to feel like they can make a difference. But their teams, but in all honesty, they just can't. They're just older.
Hmm.
Guys like Russell, guys like, maybe you throw in like a guy like Justin Fields or DeAndre Hopkins. It's like these guys, they just ain't got it anymore, man. It's like
Yeah,
time to get in the draft. Time to get the young guys. Time to go for the young guys, man.
yeah, yeah. So now we look forward to there's still some free agents out there that they can still sign, but the main bulk of this is already done. Now it's looking forward to draft day, man, and that's gonna be fun to kind of. We'll have to see if we can do like a little mock draft or something because there's some good people in this draft class that can maybe make some moves in the NFL.
You got to see. That'll be interesting. Let's go.
Yeah. Anything else you want to cover here before we break it down?
No, man, no, that was a really good show, man. A lot of different movements been going on. Like I said, this is the off season for us, in a way.
Hmm.
So, basketball is really getting clicking, so it's interesting.
Yeah, we'll have playoffs starting soon. I think there's only like 30 days left or so in the NBA, and
So
then
many
it'll
games.
be playoffs starting, man. So it's coming quick. The
Mhm.
next time we'll see Torres, it'll be on it'll be on ESPN Plus,
Yeah, one of them, ESPN or ESPN Plus. Yes.
ESPN or ESPN Plus. I'll see if it says it online real quick. But yeah, we'll be seeing him on there. Like we said, April 5th around 9 o'clock is what we're kind of predicting there for that. Let me see here if I can find something for sure. UFC Fight Night. Emmett versus Murphy. It looks like probably ESPN Plus for the the main card.
That's
But
right.
yeah, so we'll have to buy it for that. Yeah, but we'll do that all day. But that's gonna be awesome, man. Torres, good luck to you, man. I hope you do well. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you taking the time today. We won't be able to do it next week, y'all.
Oh, we
But he's
won't
he's
be.
gonna be prepping. He's gonna be prepping. He's got to focus on it. We need to get him in Atlanta
That's
in
right.
June.
Hey, we got to get in Atlanta,
We
man.
got to get in Atlanta in June.
That's right.
So yeah, thank you all out there for tuning into the live stream. Thank you out there if you're listening to this on podcast. You can listen to us on podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, anywhere podcasts are located. Really, don't forget to subscribe to it. Follow us on social medias, things of that nature. You can click in the description, go to the Linktree link, and it'll show you different ways you can support us. We appreciate everything, all the support from you guys, and as always, we'll see you next time.
Boom, boom.